guys, it's Kelly. Mari and I are back with another challenge layout. And the theme this week is Halloween. And Halloween and other theme-based layouts are always so difficult for me to scrap. I'm not sure if it's just because of the themed products, if I'm just, not a fan of using themed products. I'm not sure. So this layout is a struggle, but I take you through it with me from the beginning to the end. So I had cut this silhouette cut file from the cut shop before I started filming, and I did that because I had my settings wrong and I had to use my craft knife and clean up some of the edges, and then I also had to take a pen and go through and just darken up some of the lines. So while I was doing that, I went ahead and put everything, or put foam dots behind parts of the web. So I'm taking this picture of my son. This is several years ago, and I've trimmed it down just a little bit smaller than 4x6 because I wanted to, have a little bit of room for a mat without covering up too much of the background, because I thought the background was pretty cool. So I have these stickers. I think they're called After Dark. They are from the Crate Paper collection. I think it was last year. And I got these at Tuesday morning. I just kind of lucked into finding them. So I went ahead and got those. And I pull them out to use, but I end up not using the bats on the layout. I use a couple of the stars, and that's pretty much it. So I pulled out some scraps, that yellow star and the yellow paper that I'm matting on right now. That one is from Crate Paper, not Crate Paper, I'm sorry, October Afternoon, the Midway collection. And the yellow with stars was a scrap that I had from Studio Calico. So I wanted to pull in my scraps as well as use my stash, and that's one of the things that usually makes, I guess, more themed based layouts easier for me, is to not necessarily use all themed based products. So I went ahead and just put down some of the edges of the web and had the foam adhesive go ahead and stick down. And I was going to mount the background paper is pretty thin. It's from a paper pad, so my plan was originally to mount it on another piece of paper. So I wasn't sure with my title. For me, Halloween pages, sometimes you just want to remember the cute costume, or in his case, the not so cute costume. And, there's not necessarily journaling that needs to be written down on a page like this. And I had already done a layout of my two kids together, and they were goofing off, so I felt like the journaling was pretty much covered. So I just wanted to have him by himself with his scary costume. So at this point, I don't have any other clear plan other than I just wanted to use some products. And so you see me going through, I have some Project Life cards that had some Halloween themes and just prints, and I went through trying to see if I was going to use that. I have a sticker sheet from an old Studio Calico kit. I have not been a subscriber to their kits in years, so I'm not sure. This is maybe 3 or 4 years old. The black paper that I cut the spider webs out was from 2009, so I was really happy that I used that. And it is a really cool Fancy Pants collection, and in the close-ups at the end you can see the paper is actually gray and it has some orange stars in it. It's very faint, but it's really neat, so it gives it a really cool texture on the background. So when I was going through my box of supplies, I stumbled upon these spiders and thought, well, this is perfect. I need to put spiders on the spider web rather than bats, even though both of them are completely appropriate for a Halloween page. So I just stuck one of the spiders down. He's not going to end up landing there, but just to remind myself of what I wanted to embellish the page with. So I want to have a place for a little bit of journaling. And the only thing that I'm really going to say in my journaling is just that the fact that, now it's, he's at the age where there's no longer cute costumes. It's all scary gore. He wanted something with his, like a knife out of his head and blood and all that. And I like shot him down on that. So this was the compromise on the Halloween costume. No longer anything cute. It's all kind of gore and scariness. And so I pulled out this smaller glassine envelope and just, in my head, I knew that I was going to put a tag in it and just write down that little bit of journaling, and just wanted to decorate it a little bit. At first, I thought that would be the place to house my title, but I didn't really like it. So, this is kind of one of the points where I was like, I'm not quite sure what I want to do. It needs fixing, and I don't know how to fix it. So I walk away from it, and I come back, and I go through my pattern papers, and I pull out a gray pattern paper. And I liked that much better than the Halloween paper. And then I also took off all of the pop dots and I stitched through all of the webs. And I'm just showing you a close-up peek right now. That took forever, but let me tell you, it made the page. And as soon as I did that, I felt like the page was going to come together because things just felt right. And it's not that much of a difference. The background paper, just a couple of shades of a difference, and the addition of the stitching and taking away the foam, it just made a huge difference. So that is, sometimes it just takes coming back to things and trying to think about it in a little bit of a different way to get it, to get the page to go in the direction that you want it to. So I did put some foam, craft foam behind his photo, and I'm going to pop that up, and that way the glassine envelope can tuck underneath it just a little bit. So I went back to the thickers and pulled off Spooky, and I was going to put Spooky Skeleton underneath it, but you'll see that as soon as I start taking the letters off of the wax paper for skeleton, that the letters blend into the background, and it's just amazing what the difference of that little bit of wax paper made. And even when I'm looking at the screen now, the letters pop out more than they did in person. In person, you really couldn't see them whatsoever. So I am looking on my desk, and I have a few scraps. And I'm thinking, well, I'm just going to layer either, some washi that I have or some of the paper scraps just to see if I can bring in a little bit more of the layers and be able to house the title on something to where it's more easily readable. Is that how you say it? You know what I'm trying to say here. So I am messing around with adding the washi tape. I was just thinking, if I'm going to put something underneath, I want some other layers in other spots, and I just started with the easy spot first. I'm going to rip these off, and I'm going to come back and at the end and put them back down. So just suffice it to know that sometimes making pages, it is a struggle, but at no time was I, it just was like, what is not coming together? And it just really sometimes just takes either a second person looking at it, which I didn't have the luxury of doing, or just coming back to it at another time with fresh eyes. And it seems to me that things that are causing me problems are so much easier to be fixed. I can't talk, that's not grammatically correct. Anyway, my point of all this is, if you get stuck, there are options that you have to, get through the layout and power on and get the page done and the memory recorded. And I just don't want you guys to think that every page that I put together just, falls together easily. And I, have a close friend and she's the same way. Some pages are just easy to come together and some are a big struggle. So anyway, that's it for me today. I do have some close-ups at the end. Be sure and check out Mari's video as well. I will link to hers below in the details section. So thanks so much for joining us, and we did have some requests for a few challenges, so you will be seeing a few of our I can't talk. A few of our viewer requested challenges coming up, and we do have our schedule through the end of the year. So thanks so much, guys. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye.